Hi everyone, welcome back again. Hope all of you are doing great. So today I'm gonna discuss about the BGP states or BGP finite state machines, and this is one of the BGP series of tutorial, right? So I'm gonna explain over here the BGP states, right? So I will explain what are the BGP states over here, but before that we have to understand what is states basically. So as it's a routing protocol, just think there is router 1 and router 2. Now if this router 1 and 2 wants to establish a BGP neighborship, successful BGP neighborship, in that case this two router has to go through different states, right? So that BGP can check multiple criteria or multiple parameter, you can say, so that it can establish a successful BGP neighborship, right? So it has to go through multiple states, then only it can establish a successful BGP neighborship, right? So now what are the states BGP basically goes through to establish a BGP successful neighborships? These are ideal state, connect state, active state, open send, open confirm, and the established state. These are the 6 state BGP basically goes through to establish a successful BGP neighborship, right? So I will explain each and every states over here in depth, right? To explain to understand a better way and in easier way. So I will start with BGP ideal state because it's a very first state, it initial state, and I will definitely start with the ideal state, from ideal state to the established state, right? So let's get started. I will try to explain over here. I have depict one picture over here with the router 1 and router 2. I will try to explain with this diagram only, right? Where you can see there is S number 100, S number 200. There is two router 1 and 2. They are connected each other, right? So, but before going to the ideal state, we have to understand when this state basically start, when it gets initiate, after which event, right? So let's understand that first. Whenever you configure router BGP with the AS number, with the neighbor and the remote AS, instantly your router goes to ideal state, right? So we understand when the ideal state gets start, this is the time wherein your ideal state gets start. Now what next? We have to understand next part, right? So in next part, one router become active with lower router ID, another one will become passive, right? This is very important part. So here within this two router, one router will become active, another one will become passive. Now how this active been chosen, right? That is the with lower router ID, right? So if any router having the lower router ID, that will be chosen as the active. Now what is the role of the active and what is the role of the passive? Let's understand, right? So active is if you might work with the LSCP, right? In that case also one will be active and another one will be passive. So active will initiate, always responsible to initiate the TCP connection, right? Or send request. So active will always be a client and passive will be always as a server for the TCP connections, right? To establish the TCP three-way handshake, right? So what after that? After the selecting the active and passive, the next it sets the connection retry timer to 0 and start with connection retry timer with the initial value, right? So what the 0, it will reset his connection retry timer, the timer value. Let me explain more detail in over here. It's initiate a TCP three-way handshake initiations or send request to its configured BGP peer, and it will reset its connection retry timer with starting with 0, right? The connection retry timer is always 120 seconds or 2 minutes, whatever you say, right? So what is connection retry timer? Basically it's wait 120 seconds to retry again for the TCP connection or TCP initiations, right? So we understand the connection retry timer, and it's always the destination port would be 179, right? This is also important. We have to understand the port number TCP 179 would be always server port number, who will play over here as a passive. right? So what happened for the router 1, destination port would be 179, TCP 179 for the TCP three-way handshake initiations, right? And the source port would be one random port. There is one range from there, something like that, 5,000 and onwards, or 4,600, something like that. So this port range would be source, and the 179 would be always the destination, right? And the active will be initiate every time as a client initiate the TCP sync request to the server, and passive will become the server. Active will be always client, right? And that will be chosen by following the lower router ID would be the active one, right? And second one would be the passive one, right? Hope all right. Now what next? It's listens, it's initiate the TCP sync request to configured BGP neighbor, that's fine. And meanwhile, it will also wait for the response, and it will move the ideal state to connect state, right? So what it does in this ideal state, it's initiate TCP connection sync request to its configured BGP pair, right? To its configured BGP pair, and it will also listen for the TCP connections, response connections. Meanwhile, it will change states to connect state, right? All right. Hope you understand this state, right? Now, we understand the ideal state when it gets formed, what port it use, and what is the connection retry timer, and when it's change its state ideal to connect, right? Now, let's move to the next state, connect state. Yeah, now we are in connect state. Here I will explain that what happened exactly in the connect state. Now in the connect state, what happened basically? In connect state, it's wait for three-way handshake successfully gets complete, right? Because your ideal state, in this state, it sends a one SYN request. Also it listens, meanwhile it changes states to connect state, so that in connect state, it's wait for the response for his configured BGP neighbor, right? So that he can get a response to successfully establish three-way handshake. Now, if the handshake gets successfully completed, the three-way handshake gets completed, what will happen, right? If it is completed, then it will send an open message to its peer, right? And change its states to open sent, right? Hope you understand the animation even. So what happened? This state, the connection state, the connect state basically, it's wait for three-way handshake gets successfully completed. If it is successfully gets completed, it sends an open message, right, to his configured BGP peer, and it's change the states connects to open sent, right? And what is open message? That is, I have explained in message video. You can check out from the I button, right? So what happened? It's changed the states to connect to open sent, right? Now, what if it is the three-way handshake get unsuccessful, or it's not completed? What will happen in that case? It will fall to the another state, that is the active state, right? And it's change the connection retry timer will be reset, right? Because in this connect state, he wait 120 seconds, but three-way handshake not successfully completed, it is unsuccessful, then it's fall down to active state, and connection retry timer reset, right? Within the 120 second, the connect state has not got any response, it's not successfully established the three-way handshake, then it's fall down to active state. If it is successful, then it will move to open sent, right? So we understand the connect state and what happened if it is successful and if it is unsuccessful. Now we'll understand the active state, right? What happened in this active state basically. Let's wrap up this connect state. So another part I forgot to explain over here, that is the if anything else happen. If anything else happen means, like meanwhile in this connect state, if you reset your BGP configurations, or your unplug the cable, something like that, if unwanted happen anything, it will fall to the ideal state. From the beginning it will start, right? So we understand, if everything is successful, three-way handshake, it's moved to the open send. If it is not successful three-way handshake, then it's fall down to active state. And if anything else happen, anything else happen means, if you reset your BGP configuration or never ship or unplug the cable, then it will fall down to ideal state, to start from the beginning, to start from the scratch, right? All right. So we hope you understand the connect state, each and every part, right? Now let's wrap up the connect state, move to active state, right? So over here, now we are in active state. And how we came to active state? Because connect state won't be able to establish the three-way handshake, right? Then only it's fall down to the active state. Now what happened in the active state? Let's understand. In this state, BGP start the new three-way handshake gets successfully completed, right? Because in connect state it is not successful, then it fall down to active state. So active state, what will do? It will again the newly the start a three-way handshake with his configure BGP peer, right? Now if this TCP three-way handshake gets successfully completed, what will happen? In that case, the local system cleared the connection retry timer, because connection retry timer is not needed 120 seconds or 2 minutes, because my three-way handshake is already completed, right? So it will reset, it is not needed. Then sends an open message to his peer and change his state to open send, right? This is very important section. Let me explain to you again. Try to understand. So what happened over here? Let me draw away. This is number 8. All right. So here fall active connect state and active state. Only these two state can send an open message to his configure pair. So this is the state connect and active who can send an open message to configured BGP neighbor, right? And these two states only can change their state to open send, right? And these two states always wait for three-way handshake gets successfully completed. If that three-way handshake gets successfully completed, instantly these two state basically sends open message, either or, right? And they change their states to open send state. Keep in mind this important point, this 8 or this 2 state role is very important, right? Hope you understand. Another part over here, that is, let me explain that one also. Now we understand, if the three-way handshake gets successfully completed in active state, it will send an open message and change states to open send. That is fine. But what if it is unsuccessful, right? The connection retry timer require expire, then it's moved back to the connect state, right? So what happened? If again it's not be able to successfully establish within the 120 seconds, then it reset that, right? If the connection retry timer expire, then it sends to again connect state. If it is unsuccessful, the three-way handshake get unsuccessful, right? And meanwhile, if anything other happen, right? If you reset the BGP in this situations, in that case, the active state, from the active state, it will move to the ideal state, right? Hope everything is perfect, right? Another important part is, try to remember these 3 musketeers, right? This 3 guy, right? This 3 guy is whole and sole responsibility to establish 3-way TCP handshake successfully, right? So these 3 states always dedicatedly work for TCP 3-way handshake gets successful, right? And these two states connect, an active state is responsible to send an open send message. If three-way handshake gets successfully completed, it sends an open message to configure pair and change state to open send, right? And in between, if anything else happen, reset, something like that, unwanted, in that case it will fall down to the ideal state, right? Makes sense, right? So now hope we understood the active state, connect state and the ideal state. This three state is very important to troubleshoot. During the troubleshoot, to which state it is and what problem it is basically facing, right? Now let's wrap up this active state. Now we'll understand over here the open states, right? Sorry, open send state. Sometimes we call it as an open state or open send state. So after lots of struggle, right, done by the ideal state, connect state and active state, these three state actively work with the to establish a three-way handshake successfully. Then it's moved to the open send, right? Now let's understand the open send. What happened basically over here? In this open send state, waits to receive open message. Try to understand again. Your connect state and active state sends an open message, but it has not received any open message from his pair, right? He has not received yet, right? So in this states, it's wait, right, for the received open message, right? So once it's received an open message, what happened? It's basically open this envelope, open this open message and check all the parameter like I have explained in the message tutorial, which might reflect over here. I button, you can check from there what content basically in open message. Open message contain BGP versions, my ASN number, hold timer, BGP identifier and the optional parameter. So in the states, once it's received the open message, it's check all the parameter whether BGP version is matching or not. ASN, what is the ASN, IBGP or eBGP, it's negotiate the whole time, all these parameters happen, right? Now if anything wrong, that would be wrong definitely. Now for now I'm taking the positive one, everything is match, right? Everything is perfect. In that case, what will happen? Now if they verify is successful, the BGP starts sending a keep alive message immediately and sets its hold and keep alive timer, and it's moved to open confirm state, right? What happened? Let me repeat it again. It's received, wait for the open message, it received the open message and it's open this open message and it's checked different parameter, right? BGP version, AS number, hold timer, identifier. If everything is a match, everything is okay, then it instantly sends a keep alive message to his pair and change his states from open send to open confirm, right? Now what if anything goes wrong? What if anything goes negative, like BGP version mismatch? This is the 3 version, this is the 4 version. What will happen in that case? If any error or unsuccessful, it will automatically notify, right? Within a notification message instantly. If anything mismatch within this open message, it will send a notification message to its pair and it will say there is something wrong, right, in open message, and it will fall down again to the ideal state, right? So it will check the open message. If anything wrong in open message, it will fall down again to the ideal state, right? But if TCP drops in between, if TCP three-way handshake gets dropped or TCP get problem or face any problem during three-way handshake, it will fall down to active state to start again the TCP three-way handshake. Hope you understand, right? In open message, it's received open message, it's check everything is everything contained in the open message. If it is everything is okay, if everything is successfully matched, it will change states to open send to open confirm. If anything wrong, it could fall to ideal state, it could fall to the active state. due to two different reasons, right? If TCP issue, it will fall down to active state. If anything wrong, like or in open message there is something BG mismatch, it will fall down to ideal state, or in between if you reset, definitely it will go to ideal state, right? So now after multiple struggle, we go to the open confirm state, right? So we'll understand the open confirm state now. Let's wrap up this state. So now we are in open confirm state, definitely, right? Now let's understand this open confirm state. What basically happened in this state? In this open confirm state, BGP waits to receive keep alive, right? Because we have seen that in open send message, we have sent a keep alive message to his configure neighbor, but he has not received yet, right? So in this state, it will wait to receive keep alive, right, from its peer. Now, if the keep alive successfully received, what will happen? Let's understand. State change automatically to established state, right? Only to one thing happen over here. It will wait for the keep alive message, right? If it is successfully received, it's changed state to open confirm to establish, right? Now, if anything wrong, if it is unsuccessful receive the keep alive message, what will happen? If a notification error, something like that, is received, BGP will jump back to the ideal state. Again, the same thing will happen. If anything wrong happen, it will fall down to the ideal state, right? Makes sense, right? We understand the open confirm. Now wrap up and understand the established state, and this is the final state, right? In this established state, BGP never agency happen, right? Update message get exchanged, keep alive message are exchanged, and the whole timer also reset after each message exchange, right? And this is the established state, is the state where only update message get exchanged. What is the update message? It's the route NLRI information, right? Now, if if whole timer expire, right? We already explained the whole timer, right? 180 seconds. If whole timer expire, within the whole timer, if no message been exchanged or no keep alive message is there, then it will fall down to the ideal state again, right? Hope you understand, right? Everything is clear. So these are the states BGP goes through, and it's reached to the established state, then only it successfully establishes a BGP neighborship. After successfully the BGP neighborships, what it does, it periodically check the keep alive message, and it's wait for the message between the whole timer, right? If it is not received any message in between the whole timer value 180 second by default, in that case it will fall down to the ideal state, right? So these are the parameters, these are the criteria, these are the states BGP goes through to establish a successful BGP neighborships. To troubleshoot and to theoretical understand, you have to understand all these states, what happen in each states, right? So that you can deep down understand and troubleshoot. Now this is the time to summarize all these stuffs. Let me summarize one by one, right? So over here there is 6 states, right? And each state is explained in this board, right hand side, and left hand side is all the states. Now with this diagram, you can understand what is basically happened, right? So one thing keep in mind, from any state it could fall down to the ideal state if anything goes wrong, right? And again, as I explained, that ideal state and connect state are dedicatedly work to establish three-way handshake completed, right? They rigorously work to establish three-way handshake, right? As you see, and this two state is responsible to send an open message, right? Once the three-way handshake gets successfully completed, then it will convert to the open send. Now it goes on to open send to open confirm to establish, right? Hope makes sense, right? You can take a snip of this diagram. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your time. And another thing I would like to say that you can get a visibility if you configure two BGP pair and you run the debug IP BGP, so that you can get visibility all the states, right? All right, hope you have enjoyed this video. You can keep like. Thank you. Thanks for your time.